Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Kevin.
And happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian listeners.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're having your day off listening to us.
What a better way to spend.
Yeah, exactly.
No better way, excuse me, to spend
exactly.
your day off.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
I mean, I'm going to be re-listening to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day.
All day. Yeah.
On repeat.
Yeah.
Perfect day to catch up on our YouTube videos. If you don't get to watch us, you could give us a thumbs up.
Our socials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, please do that. But we are here again last weekend without a race. Thank you. We're back.
God, yeah.
But again, we're just here with some news, some updates, a little bit of a trivia for Kevin at the end. Like he put me on the spot, so I'm gonna put him on the spot. But yeah,
I'm gonna get it back so hard. That's
this
Jesus
is
Christ.
good. Yeah. We're going to jump right into some news of the week-ish.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah. I mean, just a couple of quick things first. We'll get it out of the way. It's not really of any consequence, but like the first couple things that I was going to bring up. One was, and we just talked about this, the owner of the rights for the Singapore GP is currently being investigated for corruption, for paying off, aiding and abetting the former Minister of Transport. So, I mean, really, nobody's really surprised.
Yeah.
That, a high, not salaried, a rich individual, influential individual is giving a politician money.
Right.
It says the future of the Singapore GP remains uncertain. I mean, this guy's not going anywhere.
No.
He's not going anywhere. He's going to pay a fine.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, the Singapore GP is going to be just fine. It brings in a lot of money
for Singapore. Of money. Yeah. So they're going to figure out a way to pay whoever needs to be paid off. And
he'll pay him off. Somebody else. He'll pay off the judge.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything will be fine. Singapore is not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. I mean, it's still on the calendar until 2028. So, I mean,
yeah,
this will be swept under the rug long before then.
Yeah. By next week, by our next update.
Yeah. We'll never hear about it again.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
There was that. There was also Carlos Sainz Sr. in the news a little bit in the last week and a half or so, talking about, I guess being asked questions about Carlos's decision to go to Williams or indecision that landed him there. Yeah. And kind of, it doesn't really seem like he's very happy that his son is going to Williams.
No.
Especially when you come from Ferrari. I mean, he said there were 3 or 4 teams that were courting him, and we know one was Sauber, one was Williams, the other one was Alpine.
Yeah.
Which other one? Who knows? I mean, was it possibly Red Bull? Was it AlphaTauri?
Yeah.
Or V-Carb, whatever. I'm never gonna get used to
all the names.
I'm never gonna get used to
when they change their name every couple of years, it's hard to keep track. Yeah. I mean, I think we said it many times because it took so long to hear the decision of where he was going. He lost momentum because that happened right after he won.
Yeah.
So everybody wanted him, and then I think teams started to back away a little bit because they're like, okay, give us an answer. We did see lots of pictures of Carlos Sainz Sr. in the different paddocks of different teams. But yeah, I agree. Doesn't sound like he's too happy with the Williams decision, but it's not his.
No, it's not his fault. It's their fault for taking too long. It's really like, even as a team, like, you have to decide who your drivers are going to be for next year. I'm not going to wait around and then all of a sudden everybody else is gone.
Yeah.
No, you're going to make your moves, and
it
sucks to be Carlos Sainz or junior and senior.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we had a couple or few races before signs announced. Kevin Magnussen was asked, like, "Hey, what's holding out?" Or was it Bottas?
Oh, it was Kevin
Whoever.
Magnussen.
Kevin Magnussen was kind of asked, where are you going to be? And he's like, "Well, this guy's holding it up."
Yeah, he's holding everybody up.
So
Yeah.
yeah, um, which
Which why
I
would they ask
think
Kevin Magnussen? Because nobody was asking him to stick around.
right, exactly, and I just think it puts the most random toxic person on the in the grid, having to talk about it. But I mean, he is where he is. He seems to be happy, but again, I think that's probably because he has no choice but to be happy
Yeah.
with that. But kind of just following up with speaking of Carlos Sainz, James Vowles had a statement that he
And boy, did
thinks,
he. Yeah.
yeah, he believes in 2025, Williams will have the best driver pairing on the grid, which is a reminder for everybody. That's Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. No disrespect to either of those drivers.
No.
The best driver lineup?
Mm, mm.
I don't know.
I mean, we haven't really seen, well, maybe our last race, but I mean, since the break, I'd give the edge to Leclerc a little bit in that Ferrari pairing.
Yeah.
Um, and then his teammate for next year has been coming on real strong over the last few races.
Yeah.
No disrespect to George. George has also been doing a great job too. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you beat that Ferrari driver lineup next year unless you're Lando and Piastri.
That's what I was just going to say. That's the other. Nobody saw this driver pairing being as strong as they are. They
And
can only get
consistent.
better.
And
Yes,
consistent.
they can
Yeah.
only get better. Uh, just bold statement from James Vowles.
Well, I think
But
he's really starting to understand the political marketing part
yeah.
of his job instead of just
Yeah.
coming out of that technical role.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to play the part. Maybe he's taking a little too much of a page from Toto and just spouting off shit and
Yeah.
hoping it's one of them sticks and no everybody else forgets the rest of
Yeah.
it.
And I mean, I think we've just got some interesting driver pairings that are going to happen next year. George and Antonelli.
Yep.
Who knows what's going to happen there? But like you said, I think when you have um, Charles and Lewis, that's a fantastic driver pairing,
Sure.
regardless of maybe what they perform next year. That's just an awesome lineup to have.
Well, and
Like,
I mean, how good can your driver lineup be when you're not in the best car?
yeah, when you're sitting in seventh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's only so much they can do. Like, they're not
Yeah.
going to pull you out of those. They might get you. Okay, maybe you might get into sixth next year.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe we'll see. But they're not going to. They can't will the car to be better.
No. No.
So
So we'll see. I did also see Charles did an interview talking about the 2025 driver lineup and his new teammate. He said he's very excited to be working with Lewis. Who wouldn't be? Um, he's ready to. He said he's ready to learn uh, from seeing him in their car. He sees him
yeah.
in a Mercedes. That's all really he's seen him in. But I mean, what are you going to say about your teammate? I don't want to work with him.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think this is going to be. I think he's going to go through a lot of emotions next year. I think it's
Yeah.
like you're going to have days where Lewis is going to beat him, and now it's all of a sudden Leclerc's like, well, now you're definitely the second best. Or
Yeah.
there's going to be days where Lewis doesn't have a great day,
Yeah.
and now all that heat is on you,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
actually off you. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
They
I think it's going to go through a range
Yeah,
of
a
emotions next
lot
year.
of emotions next year. I mean, the article kind of also talked about the way the article was titled that I read was, Charles excited to work with Lewis, talks about times that he hated signs. And so, first of all, I was like, click on that.
Yeah, of
clickbait for
course, of
me.
course. Yeah, for
But,
sure.
he kind of spoiler alert, it was that there are times on track that you hate your teammate,
Sure.
and it's that simple. And he says, "But all it took was a conversation after the race, and then we're good."
Yeah.
And I think there's gonna be a lot of conversations after races next year. I think Lewis getting used to Ferrari, Ferrari getting used to Lewis, and then if Lewis is performing better than Charles, I think those are gonna be very hard conversations.
And starting to stay off the team radio chatter or
Yes.
listening to what's being
Yeah.
played over and over and over
Yeah.
again. That's gonna fuel
Oh, yeah.
those heated
That
moments.
they're no longer friends
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all kinds of stuff. So, interesting driver lineup talk. I guess we are getting close to the end of the season. We are, hearing all this stuff, but I mean, there's been a lot of driver lineup talk for
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get to more driver lineup talk in a
Yeah.
little bit, but I mean, just another quick, short, little news. Toyota Gazoo, I guess Gazoo
Mhm.
Racing is back in Formula One, not
Mhm.
as an engine supplier or car manufacturer or anything like that, but they're in support of Haas. So they will
Yeah.
be coming back as of this race in
Coda.
Houston, yeah, Texas.
Austin.
That's Austin, not Houston. My goodness.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And I wasn't drinking today.
Yeah.
Maybe a touch. But they'll be providing manufacturing, design, and technical support to the team, which is great because they need it.
I
So,
I mean, they're
well, they
doing
do.
well, but they need
But
it.
they need help. They need help.
Yeah.
They're the smallest team, as you mentioned a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
on the grid.
Mhm.
So whatever help they can get, and I can't help but, and this is not has anything. I mean, Toyota is obviously a Japanese company.
Mhm.
This deal, I feel, was brokered between. It wasn't brokered between Gene Haas. I
Yeah.
feel like this was brokered between um, team principal
Yeah. Komatsu.
Komatsu. I was going to say
Yeah.
Kawasaki. Komatsu. I said another engine manufacturer,
Yeah.
um, and the folks there at Toyota. So
Yeah.
good on him. I mean,
Definitely.
he's definitely making an impact this year, and
Oh,
yeah,
I think everybody was like, "Oh, what's he gonna be able to do that Gunter hasn't done and, however many years," and he's doing it.
and this was something that was barely on the radar. I don't think we
Yeah.
had heard anything. I know there were
We didn't
rumblings.
hear it at all.
Yeah, all I've heard was like fan chatter about get
Yeah.
Toyota back in there, but
Yeah.
it, there was no rumors, there was nothing. It just surprised out of the blue, and all of a sudden they're there for Texas.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even when you sent it to me, I was like, "What does this mean? What's going on? Like, are they doing the engine?"
No, it's still a
I
Ferrari
really
engine,
yeah, which I
just
think is
helping.
probably the best for them, a
Yeah, yeah,
Ferrari
oh yeah,
engine.
yeah, yeah, and still helping on the technical side. So
Yeah. And it's
yeah,
like I said, it is working. Whatever Komatsu has come in and done for that team who has consistently sat at the bottom of the grid. Uh, they may not be finishing high top tens, but they're finishing. They've got points.
yeah.
They're making moves. Some teams don't have any points.
Well, and
So,
Hulk is consistently putting that into Q3 at least,
yeah.
or Q1
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, consistent for a Haas, but
Yeah.
consistent enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
Showing that if you can drive it well, you can
Yeah.
make something of it,
For sure.
right?
For sure.
Um, I kind of want to go into. I don't know what I wanted to go to now. We'll go with something. Something I know we're not going to spend too much time on because there's other things that
Okay.
we're going to spend time on.
Okay.
Adrian Newey this week on a podcast
Mhm.
has very big concerns for the first car he's going to put out for Aston Martin
Yeah.
and for F1 as a whole.
Yeah.
I guess there was the original idea from the FIA was, well, they were supposed to have 400 kilowatt power units, 400 kilowatt hybrid parts, whatever that means. But for it was unsustainable apparently for the power unit, so they've dropped it down to 350.
Okay.
Basically what this means is when they get longer straights now, they're going to be real fast at the end, and they're not going to be as fast at the beginning, and not as fast at the end of the straight because they'll have drained their battery at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And with the amount of aerodynamic rules that they have or being so restrictive, you can't really, all the cars are going to look alike. There's not going to be a really difference in aerodynamics. The cars are going to be way too similar. And
Yeah.
he feels that it's not going to be a better product for the show.
Yeah. Which, you are Lawrence Stroll. You have just signed the best technical designer of any F1 car in the last, 20 years.
Yeah.
Um, you've
Eh,
spent all this money, and he's now saying, "Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to make this work."
Not much
Is
I can do.
this, yeah, is this him, you know,
Well,
pulling a bluff from already, or?
he's an aerodynamicist. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, he's going to be in charge of a lot more now, but he's an aerodynamic. So when he's can't do much with the aerodynamics of the car, what's supposed to? I mean, you've basically castrated $400 million.
Yeah.
You know, what he's supposed to do.
Which is kind of funny because now they've spent all this money and
And now he's
he's
just
just
sitting back and
laughing.
like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, it's like, oh, my hands are
Yeah,
tied.
I guess I'll still be
Whoops.
on gardening leave.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting. But again, is this just a matter of every aerodynamicist, every technical director is going to be in the same scenario?
Of
He's
course.
just the one that we are hearing from the most,
Well,
household name.
I think he's trying to create some chatter so this way they can. I mean, the regulations aren't set in stone yet. There's still
Yeah.
going to be changes, or there's possibilities for them to be changed,
Yeah.
or modified until 2026. I
Yeah.
think this is him trying to basically get his way,
Yeah. And
right?
get the
Just
FIA to change.
change their regulations, get
Yeah.
Liberty Media to pressure them, because if it's not going to be a good show, then there go all your big time sponsors that you just brought on, like Tag as their
Mhm.
time sponsor, and as
Yeah.
we were talking about, LMVH, which is a Louis
Mhm.
Vuitton, and all those other posh
High-end
brands that I hate.
design.
But Sabrina doesn't, so if they
I
want to
don't
send
hate
anything,
them.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys can send
Um,
anything to me.
but yeah, they've signed all this, and if the product's not as good, what does that mean for the money you're bringing in
Yeah.
or retaining once that contract is up?
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll see. And I mean, it is interesting when you do get Adrian Newey to do an interview or a podcast. It's not very often. And then he
no.
kind of comes out and says this, and like you kind of have to be like, what's he on to?
Yeah,
What's
you
he pulling at here? Or
absolutely.
is this like, is he really worried? Or is it just a bluff?
Well, I mean, we
Don't
don't
worry
really.
about Aston Martin.
At this point, we only have simulations at the same
Yeah.
time, right? We haven't put a 2026 car on track. We haven't put.
No.
They just released what the aerodynamics, or most of the aerodynamics, are going to
Yeah.
look like, the body of the car.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly. He doesn't even know,
No.
but doesn't look great so far.
No.
I mean, the
We'll see.
math doesn't lie.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Apparently, I don't know. I'm not.
Apparently.
I
I'm
can't.
not good
I
at
can't
math.
do that math.
Yeah.
Um, we had some interesting comments from Martin Brundle
Mhm.
on another podcast, I believe it was, or another on. Oh, he did a Sky Sports Ask Me Anything on Reddit.
Yeah.
And when asked about, I can't remember if it was the blue flags or it was just something that he does not care for in F1. Basically, it was the blue flags.
Mhm.
So when he was a driver, there were no blue flags. If you had to strategically place yourself, take your pit stop, so you would hopefully be in ideal traffic. But either way, once you came up to a back marker, you had to pass them, and they had
Mhm.
every right to fight you for it.
Yeah.
Right. So that all came into play. Right. It wasn't
Yeah.
just whoever you're fighting in the back. You had to make it work with somebody else, because nobody
Yeah.
wants to get past, and they'll fight
No.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I'm assuming the blue. We haven't been watching that long, but I'm assuming the blue flags also helps with safety regulations, or safety of other
Yes.
drivers, not having to have so many on track battles.
Yeah.
But he believes they should be scrapped. He doesn't believe that it actually would be viable. Now we go back to aerodynamics. passing those back markers might be a little more difficult,
Mhm.
with today's aerodynamics being so similar on all the cars.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's completely wrong. I think it would make those battles. I mean, we definitely wouldn't have had. I shouldn't say definitely. We most likely wouldn't have had 23 race wins for Red Bull last year, and 22 for Max
No.
if he had to fight through traffic.
No. There's no way,
Because
and
he lapped people up until the 10th lap, and those are
I
just
was
easy
gonna
passes.
say, like, he
Or
had
10th
people
place.
10th place, yeah,
Yeah.
like, he was laughing all the way up there. I know my dad would agree with Martin Brundle, but again, he's watching a different generation of race, or used to watch
Yeah,
a different
yeah.
generation of racing, that, if you are a good driver, you should be able to figure it out. You should be able to get past these back markers, and they have the right to hold you up.
Well, yeah, and a and
Like,
a race is a race. So if you
yeah,
have one racer, we had Charles who had to start in 19th or 20th or
yeah,
18th, whatever it was. If he's one of those back markers and he can help out his teammate. I mean, it is a
it
team
is a
sport. You're giving away a team trophy.
yeah,
Why are you not allowed? Why are you going to effectively make that person useless to your
yeah,
team?
yeah. Well, and I mean, in a way, you could argue that Red Bull uses V-carb as their like
Well,
like
fastest laps and
yeah,
yeah,
they're using their back team to create problems on track.
sure.
Um quote unquote problems. They're not allowed to block anybody, but
But I think there is an unspoken directive,
mhm, yeah,
and they're very aware.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, just take that corner a little bit wider.
yeah.
Like,
Or
they're
back
on a
up
corner,
traffic,
they
so now
can't
there's
yeah.
a DRS train,
Yeah,
and now,
exactly.
you've got 5 cars you have to
Yeah,
pass,
yeah.
where you're not
It
gonna do that in half a lap.
yeah, it's it could make things a lot more interesting.
Absolutely.
It could make things a lot more dangerous, which I think is where this comes from, right? It does come from
Yeah, I think it is more so of a safety thing. I don't know when this regulation came into play.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, yes, it definitely is. You're not fighting into a corner. You're not taking other cars out,
yeah,
accidentally or not.
yeah.
But yeah, I would assume it's rooted in safety.
Yeah, yeah,
However, you are cheapening your product, right?
yeah,
If you can just easily pass, and now you're just using pylons as defense.
yeah. Well, and I mean, sometimes, like, someone like I'm gonna be pretty mean here, but someone like, a Logan Sargent that was so far behind that he doesn't even have anybody in front of him. You have Max in 2023 coming up behind him, using him as a slipstream
Yeah,
to actually propel him even further. Not teammates the teams aren't related in any regard, but you're using these back markers until you just need to pass, and then
strategic. Yeah,
the blue flag is there, and then they have to move over.
yep.
Uh, so I mean, I can see why it wants to go away. I would be interested to see what happens when it goes away. I think it'll get ruthless.
And
Uh,
I mean, really, if I'm in a Williams, or if I'm in, I mean, in an Alpine, and I'm not having a particularly good weekend, what's the point of me racing? Why am I
yeah,
doing this? What
yeah.
what what am I doing?
And I got to move over, and I mean, we've seen it happen before. Was it Monaco? I can't remember. Where one of the back markers did move over, or they had to move over, and the person that was behind them in the, again, a back marker, they took the slipstream behind the person that was passing, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
they ended up passing as
and
well.
then you
So
get screwed. Yeah,
yeah,
it
so
happened even last week,
I
two
was like,
weeks.
it
I think.
happened not that long
Yeah, yeah,
ago,
yeah. It
but
was the last two races, somewhere in the last two
yeah.
races.
And I mean, you're getting past, but the last back marker could also use the person that's
Well, that's what they're
passing to
using. Yeah,
help
yeah.
them.
Like,
So,
thank you very much. You've had to slow
yeah.
down. Now I'm going to pick up speed.
Yeah, exactly.
And you may or
Uh,
may not be out of the points because
right.
they have been lapping up to 10, 8.
Yeah.
I think it was 8th and
Yeah.
2 races ago in
Yeah.
Singapore. Something like that.
Yeah. So I would like to see it. I don't know if it's something that we could
We'll just have to watch
keep.
on F1 TV and watch the old
Yeah,
races. Yeah.
exactly. Pretty much. Pretty
Yeah, I
much.
don't think that's going away.
No, I don't think so at all.
Uh, before we get to the bigger ones,
Okay.
we did have some, and you don't know about this
Oh.
because you hadn't heard about it. We had some comments by Gunther Steiner on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So his is going back to Hamilton. If Hamilton wins his 8th or wins a championship for Ferrari, the guy will end up in the Vatican. I mean, he will automatically he's Sir Lewis Hamilton now. He
This
will
is
be
true.
sainted basically in Italy.
He will get his sainthood.
if he gets his 8th championship with Ferrari.
Can you be a sir and a saint? I mean, they'd make it happen.
Yeah,
they'd figure it out.
He'd be Saint Sir Hamilton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. Either way, I thought those comments were funny. I'm not.
I would send my
agree.
kid to that elementary school, that Catholic elementary school.
I would not.
Saint Louis Hamilton.
I would just for the name alone. I think it'd be ridiculous.
Saint Louis Hamilton of wherever.
Yeah, I mean, you have to die to be the saint, so he's got to be
fair.
Just,
fair enough.
Yeah. Either way, that was just that. Funny. Comments by Helmut Marko this week. I mean, this guy can't stop stirring the pot.
And people just keep putting a microphone in front of him because it's
it's
gold every time.
And I don't have the full thing here, do I? No. Oh, I thought I had the full quote here. I don't. I saved the wrong thing. Either way. I do actually. So I don't know where he was talking. It doesn't really matter anyways. So we had, Perez shutting down the rumors that he's retiring in 2025 or at the Mexico GP, he'll announce his retirement for 2025 and on, which he has a 1+1 contract for next year and possibly 2026. But he says the remaining races of the season will decide what our driver pairings will look like for next year. I can very well imagine that a Red Bull junior driver will drive alongside Max. We decided to compare Liam Lawson and Tsunoda. So I'm assuming this was questions over Daniel Ricciardo leaving and putting Liam in there. But he's very keen on saying for next year, 2025. So even after Perez shuts down all these rumors, Marco's like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I don't really like you still.
Yeah. Most teams try to rebuff rumors. They try to pretend they didn't happen. They don't talk about them. And he's just like, we're going to talk about it. I'm just going to keep saying stuff to make these rumors seem.
I mean, at this point, I think at Perez's, not what's the word I'm looking for? Using him as basically a victim. It's just Horner and Marco vying for power in the media because we had Horner saying, well, we never know if they don't work out, we might still we always have Daniel's number basically. And now he's basically saying it's going to be Lawson or and Tsunoda, and that 2025 seat is still open, and they're both kind of alluding to it. I mean, Marco outright saying it, but.
Now I'm thinking, are they just trying to piss Sergio off enough that he's just like, okay, I'm out. I can't deal with this anymore. Is this what they're doing?
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like they have no control over this team. No. There is not a singular unified message coming out of this garage.
No.
And they're when we talk about, because they're two separate teams, but these two are running both teams now.
Yeah.
We don't hear from Laurent at VCARB. We don't hear from anybody else at VCARB. We don't barely even hear from the drivers.
Yeah.
It's just Marco and Horner And Max obviously just like, I just want to drive.
Yeah.
Just
I'm just here so I don't get fired.
oh yeah.
It's just like I don't get it. I don't know. Again, like I said, if I'm media, I am putting a microphone in front of both of them at this point. But I'm surprised Red Bull hasn't stepped in and been like, you both need to stop.
Get your shit together. Yeah,
Like, you guys need to stop.
we're
Uh,
appointing a media advisor, and everything will go through them.
what's crazy is that they have media advisors. They have
Yeah,
people that like
these people
stand
look
with
too
them.
scared to do
Yeah,
anything.
that's true.
Like, I just don't get it. I
This is true.
don't understand it.
I
They need to calm this down and
Yeah.
just figure it the fuck out.
They really do. Because I think they're gonna have some. I mean, they do have a very angry driver in Sergio, and they're just not making the
And neither
team
of them seem to
culture.
care. Neither of them seem
Yeah,
to care that he's angry.
no, just company culture is gone.
It's gone. I mean, we've had 7 key people leave the organization.
Yes. Yeah.
Leave the organization and either leave with immediate effect or leave at the end of the season or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's just, at first it didn't necessarily seem, it seemed like they were just getting better offers somewhere
Yeah.
or they're leaving, but now it's just starting to seem like they can't take what's going on
Yeah.
politically
They
within the organization.
No. It's like
Yeah.
struggle bus over at Red Bull.
Yeah.
And I think they need to figure it out. I think they need I think it's also finding its way down to the drivers. I think
well, yeah.
well, yeah, I mean one direct.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of what has gone on reflects a little bit into, Max this year and his performance this I wouldn't even say second half of the season. It kind of started before
And that
the
frustration's creeping
break.
in.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see it. I mean, Red Bull got to get it together.
Yeah. Yeah. They are definitely at risk of losing both their drivers, I think, at this point.
Yeah. And if Joss has anything to do with anything,
Oh,
they
he's got Max's bags packed already. He's got the
yeah,
contract waiting for him, like
he's
waiting
ready to
after
go.
every race. He's just like,
Yeah.
here,
Sign
Toto
it.
sent it over.
Sign it.
Yeah, sign it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then kind of the bigger one coming out was, and I'm so frustrated by this, and it's probably for a reason you're not going to expect, but
Okay.
apparently out of this investigation, this antitrust investigation from the Department of Justice in the States against Liberty Media over their dealings with Andretti Racing, and they're bringing an 11th team to Formula One, regardless of them meeting all the requirements, all the criteria to bring an 11th team. Excuse me. There is apparently an a secret pact or agreement illegally between Stefano Domenicali and the F1 team principals about not allowing Andretti or team bosses. I don't know if it was necessarily all the principals, but not allowing Andretti Racing into F1 next year or 2026 or whatever it was going to be.
Yeah.
And this was all came out through, leaked WhatsApp texts and whatever they had there. Do you want to start?
I mean, the first thing I want to say is WhatsApp conversations have been the
So
detriment
you are
to
exactly where I am
yeah.
at. This year I've heard more about WhatsApp than I care to fucking think about.
Yeah. It has been the detriment to Formula One bosses all year.
Did you not think after Horner almost lost his job, almost lost his marriage, and
Yeah.
we have no idea what's going on with that anymore, and it all came out on WhatsApp, that maybe you just stay off the fucking chats.
Yeah.
Have meetings. Say team principal meeting.
Yeah.
And meet in a room.
Yeah.
And then talk about it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean, Mercedes earlier this year had the WhatsApp logo, the car, the F1 car.
That's their team radio button. Yeah.
They have the button, the emoji.
Which now just seems like
Yeah.
Seems like Toto is the Darth Vader
He's
of
the
the
one
paddock.
like
Like, he's
him.
controlling this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's all been foreshadowing the
He's
whole
he's
time.
in their server rooms, like, I'm picking out everything I wanna find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's I do think we need to stop talking about this stuff on WhatsApp. Uh, do I mean, it is kind of funny that there is this, like, WhatsApp group of people being like, "No, we don't want him to join. We don't." It's
Yeah.
like a bunch of teenage
We gotta
girls,
share our
like
profits? Fuck these
yeah,
guys.
like, they're "No, we're not doing this," with these, like, grown men, having these conversations. Uh,
And, yeah, it's definitely in the background, like, "Don't worry, guys. I got you. I got you.
I
I
got
got it.
this,
I
don't
got it. No
worry."
problem."
But I it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good
Yeah.
at all.
There was also apparently I didn't save this one, but there was apparently a meeting with Andretti and Stefano Domenicali. I don't know where it was, but somebody higher up, I don't remember what his name was, had walked into the room and said, "I will make sure that Andretti never enters Formula One," and said that directly to Andretti. Now, this is I don't know if this was confirmed
Yeah,
or if this was just something that Andretti had said. Um, but there was also that. So that there's also some, if that's true, there's also
yeah,
some validity there to this weird pact. But again, like we said before, it's F1, it's Liberty Media's product. You
yeah.
can meet the criteria. Doesn't necessarily mean that they have to let you in.
No, no,
You bring a
there's
bottle of wine to my house. I don't have to let you into my house.
you can keep the wine.
I likely will, but I will
Yeah,
not. Yeah, I'll take the
yeah,
wine as payment. Say thank you. But
yeah.
I mean, like, you don't have to let somebody into your organization just
No,
because they want to be.
you don't have that power, uh, over somebody else's
Yeah.
business.
Now,
Like
tell them that you do want you that you, if you do everything, that we will definitely let you in, and then create this secret girls club. Um, that's different.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Andretti a few times, and it's like, what we know they built this, ridiculous factory.
Yeah.
What was going through their heads, Andretti, as an organization, not just, Mario, Marco, like as an organization, what was said to you that you were like, yes, let's go ahead with
Yeah.
this?
It was either extreme overconfidence
Yeah,
or you were promised that
something.
if it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And with what's coming out, it's kind of like maybe I'm leaning a little bit like I'm
Yeah. At
feeling like
first, I thought it was overconfidence.
yeah.
At first, I absolutely thought, like, okay, if we put a facility here,
Yeah.
they have no reason that they can't. Like, we will definitely, because we're showing our
Yeah.
commitment. Blah 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 blah. It's
Now
starting to
I'm
look like, yeah,
50-50.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there may have been a conversation said that and then some F1 team is now going to buy that facility and use it.
Or maybe they had this meeting outside.
Yeah.
Maybe Stefano had a few allergies that he wasn't aware of and started winking.
Yeah.
Like, it's that yeah, you've probably never watched it. The Seinfeld episode where George
No.
gets a bug in his eye or something. He's got something in his eye. He's just
Oh, he's
winking. Yeah,
winking.
yeah. Over promising in his life
Yeah.
because he's winking.
Well, I guess there's obviously going to be a ton more on this
Oh yeah.
because this is just the iceberg. Like we're just the tip of the iceberg
Oh yeah.
hearing about all these texts and
I think we're gonna hear about this well into the new year. Like,
yeah.
there's gonna be lots that's gonna be coming out.
And I feel like it's going to be like we're going to have to let them into Formula 1. We'll let you in now, but I mean, again, also interesting we talked about it last week, I think. Andretti has just stepped down. He has just stepped down
He has stepped down. Yep.
from the board.
So
So,
we don't know the timing of this. We don't know
right.
if these texts had come out before he had stepped down,
Yeah.
or who knows.
Maybe all of a sudden he's gonna be back up there being like,
Back, yeah. He's just gonna break that door down, just
"Yeah,
kick it in, and I'm back, you
I'm
motherfuckers.
back." Yeah.
Get ready, bitches.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much what I would be doing if I was him. As long as there's nothing on his hands about it, I mean, I would be doing the same thing,
Oh, absolutely.
taking my job back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. That's the news that we had.
that's the
Um,
news.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was it.
all right. Well, then we're playing a game. It's not
Okay.
really a game. It's more
Is it a
just
game or is
like
it not a game? What is
it's
this?
not a game.
I
Um,
feel like this is gonna be some kind of Saw thing. Like, you're gonna ask me to play a game, and all of a sudden I've got to choose between which digits I want to keep.
no, no, no,
Okay.
you're not selling anything on the black market.
Whoa! I was gonna
Uh,
say
on the black market.
this is not
Uh,
OnlyFans for
yeah, right.
don't work at
So
Alpine.
as you as you know, every year People magazine releases sexiest man
I
alive,
knew it. How did I know
beautiful,
this guy?
most
I knew it.
beautiful person. They have released People's Magazine sexiest Formula One drivers. Now, for some reason, they only chose to pick the top 15 sexiest Formula One drivers, which is really sad because there's only 20, so you
Is
couldn't
this
pick five
okay? So
more.
it is the current grid. Okay,
It
yeah,
is the
yeah,
current
yeah,
grid.
yeah.
And like you,
It's a random number, 15. Why not
right.
just 10? And if
Or
you're gonna cut out
or all
people, keep
20.
10. Yeah, we're all 20.
Like there's only
Yeah.
five more. And again, like I said, I just kind of wanted to run through the numbers because I
Okay.
just think some of the order is very interesting to me.
Okay.
So, uh okay, how do you want me to tell you the top or
It's your game, and you tell
15?
me. You
Okay,
just you
can
just
you
want
guess
me.
number 1? Who do you think is number 1? Current grid.
See, I would go number 1. So there's 2 that I would place. I think they would place at number 1.
Okay.
1 would either be Charles,
Okay.
just because, he's obviously young, fresh face. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Face of Ray-Ban. But I'm gonna go with it's got to be Lewis because of his interest in fashion. He's in the public eye all the time. I think they would put him there. I think it's either one. I'm
Okay.
50-50.
Okay. Well, you're right. It is Lewis.
Okay.
And Charles is number 2.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So this is where it starts to go a little. I mean, that makes sense.
So I gotta pick. Was it 13 more? And 5 of them are not even on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from okay, I'm going to give you 15 to 11. I'm going to help you out here.
Okay.
Number 15, Valtteri Bottas.
Okay. People at Magazine likes the mullet and the mustache.
14, right. Logan Sargent.
Okay.
All-American.
They should. I guess this was published before he left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 13, Kevin Magnussen.
Okay.
Number 12, Sergio Perez.
Okay.
And number 11 is Yuki Tsunoda.
Yuki, I didn't think that Yuki was gonna. I'm sorry,
Yuki,
because like Yuki's just like this, my cute little best friend. I didn't think he would made the sexiest Formula One
Yeah.
drivers.
And number 11 on the list.
Yeah,
So
beating out all the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you now have to guess from number 3 to 10, which
Okay. All right.
you will be.
Do I have
shocked.
to place them?
Yes.
Oh.
Because the placements
I gotta guess who's
actually,
on
what?
place them.
Or no, you don't have to place them.
Okay.
I will place them.
I didn't make you place them last time.
Yeah. Okay. I will place them for you, but I'm just curious if. And okay. I think the order is just hilarious.
Okay, if they're gonna put K-Mag on there, then I think that they're going to definitely put on Nico. Nico's on that list.
Number 8.
Okay. Okay. Alonso's got to be on there.
Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Number 4.
I could see that. He's got I could see.
Really?
He's like a rugged man kind of look. You know what I mean? So
okay.
So then I'm gonna go with his Spanish counterpart, and Carlos Sainz is on there.
Number 9.
That's why you're upset. That's why you're upset because both. Yeah. He's so close to Tsunoda.
Number 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm just thinking about the grid here. Gasly. Gasly's got to be on there.
Number 6.
Okay, number 6. How many do I have left? I'm missing 4,
You're
5.
missing 3,
3.
5,
Okay.
7, and 10.
3, 5, 7, 10. I got 4 more. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna. Lando's in there. Was Lando on there? You got to tell me yes or no. You can't
Yes, he is. He's number 10.
Oh, he's 10. Okay.
Yeah.
He's 10.
He's 10.
Okay. I want to say Max because he is obviously one of the most recognizable names in Formula One. He gets viewed a lot, but I also go back to Daniel Ricciardo and that sloth meme. I'm still going to say Max. I'm still going to say
Max. Max is number 5.
All right. Max is
He's number 5. So you're just missing number 3 and number 7.
George Dunn looks like a kind of...
He's number 3.
Geeky model kind of look, I guess.
A geeky model.
Well, he's tall. I mean,
yeah.
He's tall.
He's number 3.
Number
on the
3.
List. Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
And Sainz is number 9?
9. And Lando is number 10.
They must have some English writers here.
God, yeah.
Okay.
So your last one is number 7.
One more. Who am I missing on this grid out of the 6 that's left? I don't think Albon's on there. I don't think Albon could be on there. I don't think Zhao's on there. Who am I missing? Oh, there's no way. If Stroll makes this list, with that goofy face, I will burn People Magazine down.
You'll burn Magazine down.
Who am I missing? Missing Piastri. I'm missing missing Ocon.
You're missing an obvious one.
Trying to
think, not a visually necessarily obvious one.
I'm trying to go through the teams here. So I'm missing Piastri. I'm missing Ocon. I'm missing Ricardo. I guess. Oh, that changes things because I definitely didn't. I was leading Ocon. I don't want to pick Ocon. I'm gonna go with Ricardo.
You'd be right with,
yes.
with Ricardo.
Yes.
He is number
Ocon
7.
Ocon stays off the list.
Yes.
I'm very
so
happy.
We are missing. I mean, we're missing. You counted them. Zhou Guan Yu, Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, and Oscar Piastri, and Alex Albon. Franco Colapinto, but again, because
this was probably
Logan's
done before. Yeah.
Because Logan's on this list, I'm thinking it was pre.
Yeah, this was written before, and it just hadn't made publication.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, George and
I would have called people racist if Tsunoda wasn't on that list.
Yeah.
Like it would have been the 3 Asians off the list,
right? Imagine. Yeah, George in 3rd, Fernando being 4th, ahead of Carlos and Lando.
I can see Fernando being 4th. I can't see Russell being 3rd. And I get why they put Hamilton in 1st. I just don't think he's I mean,
he's a very good looking man.
Sure.
But I mean, I think it is capturing Formula One. Like they've got to put him as number 1.
Sure. He's at the Met Gala every year.
Yeah. That's a strategic placement. I do think he would have been in the top 3.
He paid for it,
but yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was when the list came out, I was like, interesting. First of all, the fact that they stopped it at 15 when there was 5 more.
Yeah. I'm going to thank you for giving me 11 to 15 because I would not have gotten. I mean, I wouldn't have put Bottas, and I probably wouldn't have put Tsunoda on there. I probably would have put Albon over Tsunoda.
Yeah.
It's
the most bizarre list, but I mean, everybody's got reasons, and I just thought it was really funny. I was like, I have to ask Kevin. I have to bring this.
I am 10 for 10. I am happy.
Yeah, you got them all. Yeah. You definitely got them all. So
sweet.
Yeah. All right, and that's it for us. I think
that's it. Yeah, that's all we got.
That's all we've got today. Next week we are back. With a race.
Back in Texas, no Daniel, and he will not know.
Oh, has it been announced?
Apparently, I did read somewhere, I don't know if it was official. I didn't hear
Mhm.
anything from Daniel. Obviously, he didn't call me.
He didn't call you?
No, we talked, but it's just he's been busy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's probably getting offers from lots of different places, but,
Yeah, for sure.
one day we'll have him on the show. Uh, but, I did read that he was not going to be in attendance. Now, I don't know, that's not obviously official,
Yeah.
but it's not looking good.
Yeah,
He was supposed to be given the key to the city of Austin. The mayor of Austin actually said he was supposed to be given the key.
that's awkward.
And he said,
Maybe
"Well,"
he'll still give it to
he said,
him.
"We'll still give him the key, but it
Yeah,
just won't be at the race, obviously."
that's awkward.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Coda is still a fun race. Still
Well, yeah, it's
very
not gonna not be fun because
yeah,
Daniel's not there.
it's
We don't see number 3 on there. They got their helmets on.
yeah, it's going to be, it's always a good race.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago that, Charles had that awesome final lap,
Mhm.
which I'm sure if anybody is on Formula One TikTok or Instagram, you've seen the sunset drive, um, with Adele playing in the background. Like, it's just, it's iconic, really, but, it makes for a good race.
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah.
always drama. But yeah,
3 good races coming up.
yeah,
3 good races
back to back.
to back.
To back. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, again, I mentioned it earlier, but you can watch us on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, X. We are everywhere at Fresh Set Podcast. Like, follow on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on all of our videos, even
Yep.
if you don't like it. It really helps us out. Turn on your auto downloads, also helps us out. And we will be back next week.
Yeah. Grab a fresh set.
Bye.